Hey there everyone, really good to be here with you again. It feels auspicious that we're in the 3-day window of the full moon in July, and the first video that I shared with you was back on the full moon of May. So perfect timing. June was such an incredibly full month that I didn't really have a chance to post as much as I would have hoped. And I'm really excited to share with you some of what transpired during that month. I was teaching and facilitating and volunteering at a number of different gatherings that were really profound for me, that have opened up some really big doors and some new opportunities. So I'll be sharing more about that soon. But in the meantime, I wanted to share an experience that just happened for me. So I am here in the middle of the Sierra Nevada mountains, pretty deep in the wilderness. I'm miles down a dirt road, and this is the sort of place where even the paved roads that you're on, you're passing through a few tiny towns, but there's really not much. It's pretty desolate, which is a real gift to find in California. And I'd been driving down this dirt road. I hadn't seen anyone or anything for quite some time. And I was feeling a little tired. I've been traveling from Oregon, headed back down to California, and I've been working pretty hard. And I really could feel like I could use some rest. So I was looking for a good place to pull over to take a little nap. And I was driving down, checking out all these different pullouts, and none of them quite felt right. And I was really putting out the prayer for a cozy place to pull over where I could be safe and held, preferably next to some water, which, as you can see, I found. And I was driving down the road, and all of a sudden I could feel that this was the spot. So I pulled into this pullout. I couldn't even see the water from the road. I hopped out, saw this beautiful creek, which you see here behind me. Parked my car, climbed into the back, got my bed all set up, laid down, and wouldn't you know it, about a minute later, after not seeing anyone for miles, no sign of life anywhere around, a minute later, a car pulls into the same exact spot that I am. And this lovely gentleman lets out his 2 barking dogs, which come running around my car. And of course, my initial reaction is one of a bit of frustration, a little bit of irritation of like, man, I just found my spot, and really? This guy shows up in the same one when I haven't seen anyone, and there's countless pullouts everywhere on this road. But I quickly got schooled, because one of my intentions that I've had on this particular journey, this portion of my trip, is to find some headwaters to gather some good drinking water out of. On my way north up to Oregon, I had stopped through Mount Shasta and gathered water from the headwaters there, which was my drinking water the whole time that I was working in Oregon. And I was really hoping to find some as I was coming down a different route. And I had asked a couple people. I went to visit my father and his good fishing buddy, and they didn't have a direct place that they could send me to. And wouldn't you know it, that this little pullout that I found in the middle of nowhere, this man that pulls up lets out his dogs, and a moment later he pulls out 2 giant 5-gallon containers that he then walks down to this creek and proceeds to fill up. So, of course, I climb out of my car to engage him in conversation and to ask him about the quality of water. And turns out that this man has lived in this area for 40 years, and that these waters are his favorite headwaters in all of the region. And that in his 40 years of coming here to gather water, he has never once seen anyone else here ever. So we ended up having a really lovely conversation and connection. And it was a really good learning opportunity for me, because it really showed me the places in my being where I was still having a restriction to the moment, where I was still closed to what life was offering. And the beauty that's possible when we open up our minds and our hearts to what is being offered in the moment. Because that man that I was initially irritated and a bit frustrated at for interrupting my rest actually was the answer to the prayers that I had been putting out there for good water to find a place of nourishment, right? So it was a really beautiful moment for me to really check in with myself and to really examine the places within my being that I still have a fundamental no to what's being offered, that I still have constriction or preconceived judgments or beliefs around what is occurring in my reality, and where I'm saying no to the reality of what is occurring, right? So I just really encourage you to utilize every opportunity in your life to really pay attention to where do you still have judgments? Where do you still have constriction around what is taking place? Because I find that every single experience, may it be as beautiful as finding the incredible headwaters that you can gather fresh, living drinking water out of, or may it be something a little bit more intense, it's a little bit harder to accept, but to really ask ourselves, where are we constricted? Where are we saying no to what is occurring rather than opening up and saying, okay, if this is happening, it must have something for me. There must be something that I have to learn, to gain, to increase awareness around in this situation, right? Because if it is happening, it is necessary. And that's kind of a hard teaching to wrap our mind around, but I find the more that I really study that in my life, the more that I pay attention to that in my life, the more that it fundamentally turns out to be true every single time across the board, no exceptions. So I just wanted to share that with you because I found it to be a really valuable lesson in this day to pay attention to, and it really brought some greater awareness into the condition of my heart. And I'm really grateful to be here and to have access to this beautiful water and to be sharing from this incredible place and to have this way of tuning in and interacting with you all. I'm excited to share more about what's happening, some incredible new projects that have opened up that I'm taking on that I'll be sharing more about. So stay tuned. I hope that you're having a beautiful day, that you are finding vibrancy and deepening in every opportunity and experience that's coming your way. And I look forward to sharing more soon. All right. Have a good one.